Hi, I'm Carla. This is Kim. Today's class is a very short general class working a lot with Parsvottanasana. If you do struggle with forward bends, please take care, use supports. You'll want some basic Iyengar yoga supports, the bolster we're going to use today, some blankets, and also definitely blocks. We do have blankets to sit on. Just start in Swastikasana. You're going to keep your knees settled down, your spine lifted up, the sides of the trunk lifted. And take a few breaths here. With each exhalation, just feel the lift and openness of your chest, broadening across the collarbones, and then rolling the top shoulder away from the ear down. If it's helpful for you to take your fingertips next to you to get that lift of the sides of the body, then do that. Exhale, settle the thighs down by quietening and releasing the groin region. And when you feel ready, maintaining that extension of the spine, bring your hands into the prayer position. Let your eyes gently begin to close. The eyes closed, draw your face back, draw the sides of the neck back. Feel the lift up of your chest, the extension of your spine. So when you close the eyes, don't allow everything to slump. Keep that spine alert, the sides of the body extended. As you exhale, keep the skin of the eyelids soft, the skin of the face soft. Relax the shoulders, keep the knees and thighs settling down. Begin with the 3 Oms. Om. 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 In the next exhalation, keeping the spine tall, drop your chin down. Take a moment here to give thanks for the health and strength of your body as you prepare for your practice this morning. Release the hands into the lap. Lift your head up, open your eyes. Just to waken up the spine, a gentle twist to the right. So your left hand comes across, your right hand goes behind you. You want to turn the chest. You want to bring the shoulder blades into the body and align your crown of the head over the tailbone. So here, as you pull on that left arm, don't lift the left shoulder up, but bring the left shoulder blade into the body. Take the right shoulder away. You want to keep the shoulder girdle over the pelvic girdle. Then releasing to the center. Take a moment here in the seated position just to again align the spine, settle the sides of the body with that extension of the spine. Exhale, turning to the left. So now you keep this right front shoulder, this very top upper arm back, but you bring the right shoulder blade into the body. So as you turn, you lift and open the chest. Both shoulder blades are in the body to open the chest. And then releasing, coming back to the center. Change the cross of the legs. So once you've changed the cross of the legs, this might not be the most comfortable seat for you. Make sure that you're sitting on sufficient height. So here, with the change in the cross of the legs, you want to settle the knees down, still find that quietness in the groins. If it's really tough and your hips are tight and your sacrum is hanging back towards the floor and you're unable to get that lift, then take more blankets underneath the buttocks, get a nice tall lift of the spine. Be aware of your head in space. So often in today's society, we're always seeking and looking at things. So as you draw the gaze back, draw the sides of the neck back, open across the collarbones, You can turn the palm to face up to get a rotation in the bicep and just be here in this upright, fully extended Svastikasana for a moment. The exhalation helps to soften areas of tension, but the exhalation is also a very useful tool when you're doing active actions. So as you exhale, empty out the abdomen, draw the abdomen back to the spine. Use that exhalation of the abdomen to get that length in the lumbar spine. Keep the shoulders released. As you exhale, also, if the shoulders tend to pop out the back, exhale, bring the shoulder blades into the body, open the chest. Might be useful for you to hold on to the knees to do that also. From here, with this tall extension of the spine, you're going to exhale and turn to the right. As you turn to the right, don't leave this side of the chest behind. Bring that right side of the chest. The shoulder doesn't lift. Lengthen across, broaden across the collarbones rather. And then when you're there, that same bicep rolling. So you turn the back of the hand, the bicep rolls, and that helps you to keep that front shoulder back in its place. Back to the center, and last twist to the left-hand side. So upright extension, exhale. In that exhalation, the abdomen empties out. In that exhalation, you are feeling that wrapping of the whole organic body around that spine. Release the hand. Have you turned the hand? Yes. And then come back to center. Right. Extend the legs in Dandasana just to release the feet and the knees for a moment. And our first pose this morning is Tadasana. So actually, we were going to do, yes, let's do Tadasana, Supta Tadasana. So if you're doing Supta Tadasana and it's uncomfortable for you to lie down with your head flat, then you're going to take a little bit of blanket for underneath your head and your neck. You also, if you have neck issues and you need a little bit more support for the neck than what the blanket fold allows, just give a little fold on your blanket or two, whatever your neck needs, so that you've got the neck supported and a little bit of softness for the head. Have a strap nearby. So once you've settled down in Supta Tadasana, move the flesh of the buttocks away. So it's helpful to keep the knees bent in the beginning. Once the flesh of the buttocks has settled, make sure also that the shoulders are not up to the ears. So you can bend your arms and bring your hands just upright, elbows at a 90-degree bend, palms face each other, then pressing into the elbows, press into the back of the head, move the shoulders down the back. Don't just squeeze them in. You don't want the shoulder blades to compress the spine. And then as you soften and release, notice that upper back. Relax the arms. Are the shoulder blades up and into the body? Are the muscles of the trapezius, the shoulder blades down the back? And is there still a slight broadness in the upper back, or have you just constricted and pinched? Supta Tadasana, we're coming into Urdhva Hastasana. Urdhva is upward facing, Hasta is hand. So open the armpits, take the arms up over your head. As you exhale, settle that diaphragmatic region. As you exhale, soften the throat, the jaw, soften in the solar plexus region. Lock the elbows, extend the arms, not just from the shoulders, but can you from the waist open the sides of the ribs to extend towards the fingertips. From these from the outer hip region, extend to the legs. Extend also the inner line of the leg. It is Tadasana. And then breathe. Breathe, soften the diaphragm. Breathe as you exhale. Use that exhalation to press the thighs down, to press the upper arms down. And then release the arms back at your sides, back to Supta Tadasana. We're doing Supta Padangustasana now. Padangusta is your big toe. And if you cannot reach your big toe, you'll use a little loop for your strap around the foot. So taking up the right leg, the leg comes up to 90 degrees and you've got your strap in your hands. Even if you can hold your foot in Supta Parangustasana 1, this is the first one, so be here with the leg at 90 degrees. Relax the neck, the jaw, the shoulders. Keep that foot alert and in Tadasana so that this right knee is engaged. Be aware of how your sacrum feels on the floor, or both sides of the body nice and long and even. So again, on this left side, on the right side, get length in the waist. Keep moving the root of the right hip towards the left foot. Soften the shoulders. And then if the leg has more flexibility, you're going to give it a little bit of a tug now, but you're doing it by taking the arms over your head. So holding your strap, however you're comfortable, take the arms over your head. Kim does the same thing I do, where you clip the strap between your thumb and your index finger, and then get that same length. So as you extend up, lengthen on the inhalation, exhale, press the arms down, press the left thigh down, press the right thigh to the bone, breathe. Each inhalation, stretch the legs, stretch the spine, stretch the arms. As you exhale, let that body in the stretch intensify, really active into the legs and the arms. And when you feel ready on the next exhalation, just release the leg down. Of course, if you have a more adept practice, if you have more time and you want to explore the pose a little bit more, absolutely keep there for a few more breaths. Come back to Supta Tadasana to realign, and then the left leg is coming up. With the loop around the foot, you hold both straps. So to start off with, just a 90-degree leg stretch. It is just the beginning of the practice, so focus on opening the backs of the knees, firming the thighs. Focus on the breath with each inhalation. Can you open the chest with each exhalation? Can you keep the shoulders, the neck, the throat, the jaw out of this pose? They need to stay passive. Each inhalation, extend the legs as if the bone of the heel is going to pierce through. Each exhalation, firm up the knees so the thighs are working. And then maintaining awareness of this left side of the body, keeping the left waist long. You're going to take the arms over the head. And at this point, if the leg wants to come a little bit more, bring it. Good. And just be there. It's a tough pose to breathe in because you're stretching your lungs. So the breath isn't an easy flowing breath, but you want to be here for a few breaths. And in that short inhalation, extend, open up, free yourself. And with each exhalation, ground that right thigh down. Each exhalation, press the upper arms to the floor, soften the jaw, the throat. If you have time to be here, to kind of intensify, you can walk your hands up the strap towards the foot and see if you can get a little bit more stretch. When you've been here for a few breaths, you're going to release the leg and we'll come out of Supta Parangustasana. We're going to turn around now, going into Adho Mukha Virasana. So in Adho Mukha Virasana, start near the back of your mat. You're taking your toes together, so the big toes touch. Your buttocks are back on your heels, and your knees are sufficiently wide so that this cushy inner thigh bit supports the sides of the body. So you have to gauge, if you're very wide, take the knees wide. If you're very slender, take the knees narrower. Again, take whatever support you want or need for this pose. Just stretching the legs. So if you have very tight ankles and knees, you might need blankets underneath and you might not be able to get your buttocks down. But for now, keep extending forward. Find that stretch of the sides of the body that we had a moment ago. And as you extend the arms forward, turn so that the fingers, the middle fingers, are parallel to each other facing forward. You spread the palm, and we're preparing to go into Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. From all fours, don't change the distance between the knees and the hands. You just turn the toes under and up you go. The feet are hip distance apart or wider, especially if you have back issues. The hands are shoulder distance apart. You want to line up your right hand with your right foot, your left hand with your left foot. This is the first Adho Mukha Svanasana for the morning, so just enjoy it. Stretch out the legs, firm up the knees, pressing into the hands once more. Find that length of the side of the body as you move the root of the front thigh back. Press into the palms and get longer and longer. Once you're in the pose, let go your head. Let go the head like it's a ripe melon. Let it just descend towards the floor. Not thinking in the pose, feeling, opening, enjoying, bringing the spine in, opening the chest towards the armpits. Adho Mukha Svanasana is such a lovely pose. So if you want to hold it a little bit longer, but you're tiring, take your knees to the floor, come to all fours. You don't even have to go to Adho Mukha Virasana, but settling on all fours here, you can take a few breaths. Important in Adho Mukha Svanasana is to keep space in this top shoulder. So if you turn your fingers to face each other, you can feel how that outer upper arm rolls out. And if you turn your fingers to face all the way out and even more fingers facing you, you can feel that bicep roll out and you get space in this top shoulder. So you keep coiling that tricep into the face, you keep rolling the bicep out to keep that space in the shoulders. But classically, the fingers face forward. If it's helpful for you, turn the palms out slightly so that the index finger faces forward. So if you come down, do you want to show? When you're coming up, if it's helpful for you, you turn your fingers slightly out so that the index fingers are parallel. That aids in that rotation of the upper arm. And off we go back to Adho Mukha Svanasana. In Adho Mukha Svanasana, press into the palms, lock the elbows, and lift the forearms away from the floor. Feel that top shoulder region. Have I kept that tricep coiling in, the bicep out? And don't do that action so aggressively that you hurt your shoulders or that the index finger and the thumb lift. Pressing into the index finger and the thumb, roll the triceps, extend the sides of the body, extend the legs. Then we're coming to Ardha Uttanasana, which is the half forward bend, looking to the front of your mat towards your hands. Step your one foot forward, step the other foot to join it, and you're coming to Ardha Uttanasana. If you're unable to reach the floor, you can grab a set of bricks. If you do not have a set of bricks, then you can take your hands onto the front shin. With that pressure of the hands on the front shin, that assists you in reminding the legs to stay straight. It also gives you an opportunity to really lift the chest and concave the back. So you want the spine to come into the body. Uttanasana is a forward extension, not a forward bend. You can take your hands to the bricks. Here, it's easier to lift the head up to get that extension in the front body, and the extension in the front body is what we're going for. So you can look up as much as you want. Get that spine in, get the dorsal spine in, get the middle back in, but now keep the breastbone lifted and take the head down. Let go the back of the neck. So when you look up and you get that extension, recognize that it's the breastbone that's extending forward. And with that extension, strong legs come to Tadasana. Be in Tadasana for a few breaths here. You've been feet apart still. You've been down for a while. So just let the head settle, let your blood run normal, and then engaging the legs, locking the elbows, opening up the chest. Once more, you want to find the softness in this top shoulder as you release the hands down. We're coming now to Urdhva Hastasana. Be mindful of the front thighs. They have to stay back exactly like you were when you were lying down, and also controlling the front ribs back. So the whole body stays stable like that mountain as the arms extend up. Tadasana is the mountain pose, also sometimes called Samastiti. Urdhva Hastasana with the arms over the head can be challenging, especially if you have blood pressure issues. So don't hold it for too long. Come down whenever you're ready. Each inhalation, extend up. Remember how we extended the sides of the trunk. And each exhalation, connect the front ribs to the back ribs. Lift the kidneys, abdomen back on the exhalation to get that length in the lumbar spine, thighs back to be strong. Once the hands are down, rest the shoulders, relax the elbows, relax the hands. You don't have to hold anything firm here. You're just finding some softness and some release. So classic Tadasana is done with the feet together. So we're going to turn sideways on the mat. Keep your bricks nearby. You might not need them for all the poses, but we will be working towards the floor. So you're going to keep your bricks nearby in case you need them. Getting the legs together for Tadasana. Try to get the big toes to touch, the inner back heels to touch, and the knees have to lift up. As you lift the knees, control the thighs back. And if you keep the middle thighs drawing back and move the middle buttock in, you'll get a lovely lift in the abdomen. Don't lift the abdomen by lifting the shoulders. Keep the shoulders down. Extend into the fingertips. Front thighs back, middle buttocks forward. Open the chest. Now we're jumping or stepping the feet apart. Fingertips to the chest. Take the feet apart. We're coming to Parsvottanasana. The feet are parallel to the edges of the mat. You can take your hands on your hips, and with that firmness in the legs, to keep the hip bone lined over the ankle bone, you're going to come forward onto your bricks, ground the heels down, and make sure that your buttocks, hip bone is balanced over the outer ankle. From here, again, find that extension, that concavity that you had a moment ago in Uttanasana. Feel, am I lifting just my chin to get that openness and lift of the chest? Can I keep the chest lifted and extend my head? Extend the neck, face the floor, keep that lift of the chest. Now, when you're coming down, you want to keep that extension in the front body. Remember, it's not a forward bend. So start bringing your bricks down. Start coming to Parsvottanasana. Parsvottanasana, you can go to the floor. Parsvottanasana, when you come into the pose, be careful that you're not swinging your buttocks back or bringing your buttocks all the way forward. Keep the legs strong, and with that strength in the legs, let the sacrum start to come in. Walk your hands back in line with your feet. So coming to full Parsvottanasana. This is Parsvottanasana 1 with the hands down. If when you come into it, your spine bends like a question mark, rather just stay on bricks and work on that frontal extension. That's far more beneficial, and rather work for the benefit of the pose on your body. Move your hands back in line with your feet if you're able to. Again, that length in the side waist is so important in Parsvottanasana, as is the frontal extension. You keep the neck relaxed. There is obviously some roundness in the back, but now focus on the sides of your waist, focus on the rib cage, and as if somebody's pulling your rib cage down, can you just release down? Full Parsvottanasana with absolutely strong legs. When you've been down for a few breaths, you walk your hands forward, come to the halfway position, stay in the halfway position, stabilize, catch your breath in the halfway position, and then when you're ready, absolutely strong legs, extend the breastbone up to come into standing. You can already walk your feet in, or if you're able to just step or jump the feet together, then do, but it is a lot safer to already heel toe in, especially if you've been down for a bit. We're doing a lot of Parsvottanasana today, as I said. So Parsvottanasana, you'll keep your bricks near the front, the right side of your mat, and if you don't need them, you can just set them aside, and when we go to the left, you'll take them with you there. So from Tadasana, again, Tadasana, that call to action, that openness in the front body, that alertness of the limbs, the spine is erect, fingertips to the chest, step or jump the feet together. When you turn, you're going to turn to the right. You can either go through Vimasana like an aeroplane, or take the hand on the hips, indicates to you where what the hips are doing. Parsvottanasana, you've turned to the right. The right foot tends to get light on the inner line. So press that right foot down, Be strong on that right leg. Move the right hip back. Press into that back foot as best you can. Be strong on the left leg and move the left hip forward. So the hips have to turn towards that right foot. Parsvottanasana, we're going to come down to take our hands on the bricks. The hands on the bricks, be strong on that front foot. The inner line of that front foot has to really press down. If you look in Parsvottanasana, the sacrum, you want to balance a teacup on it. So to get the sacrum level, that right hip has to move back and up. That left hip has to descend. Parsvottanasana is such a wonderful pose. It develops strength, it develops flexibility. It also leads to so many other poses. So be here for a few breaths. As you exhale, push into that back foot, press into the front foot, move the front thighs back. And on an inhalation, extend the breastbone forward. Extend the neck. So once you've lifted the breastbone, keep it quiet, keep the chin quiet. Be here for a few breaths. In Parsvottanasana, you want to bring the shoulder blade region, that thoracic spine, into the body. You want to maintain length in the front body. And then if you're able to, keeping the legs strong, you can start taking the bricks down or even taking your hands to the floor. Once your hands are down, you start to look back at this back foot. As you come down more and more, square off the hips, be aware of the alignment of the front body. And yes, there's a natural roundness that happens, but don't bend and scrunch the front body. To come up, legs are strongly drawing back, come to the halfway lift, firm up the legs. So it's very tempting to just step that left foot forward. Firm up the legs, rip the mat apart with your feet, and come up with absolutely strong legs. Then turn the feet and you'll turn to the other side. So first, before you turn, just have a look that in the center position, line up your feet, because the turning of the hips does sometimes affect the alignment of the feet. Firm up the legs, engage those thighs, abdomen back, and when you're ready, turn. You can either turn with your hands on your hips or, yes, take a little bit of width, a little bit more, yes. Now, strong legs. Turn this back foot sufficiently so that that right hip can go forward and release down onto your bricks. So it's harder to align when you're standing, and it does affect your balance a bit. But definitely, once you're on the floor, this right hip bone in front has to move towards that left foot. This left hip bone and thigh have to extend back. You'll feel that the right side of the waist is longer than the left. So again, you're squaring off the hips, you're getting the sacrum level and into the body, you're evening out the sides of the body. Strong legs, keep the thighs drawing back, and against that stability of the legs, extend the breastbone forward. As you extend the breastbone forward, am I just lifting the chin? Can I keep the back of the neck long? When you've been here for a few breaths, strong legs, start to drop your bricks down. Each time you come down, be here for a few breaths. Realign the spine, move the hips into alignment also. Keep the back of the neck long. And this is where it's important that you listen to your own body. Each side is different, so you might be more flexible on the one side than the other. You know, especially if you're on this online platform, you don't necessarily have a live class, so you do want to take care not to bend too much. So bring the bricks up, work on extending the front body, extending the sides of the body with each inhalation. As you exhale, push the thighs back, press into the feet, move back, and then with strong legs, inhale and up you come. Turn the feet. And then you can either heel toe in, or from here already, just step or jump the feet together, coming to Tadasana. In this Tadasana, there's just softness. So keep your head in the center, keep the shoulders and the elbows relaxed, the hands are soft. So there's a softness where you just kind of feel the effects of the pose on your body. Find your breath again. Start to come to a full, more alert Tadasana. So we now are going from Prasarita Padottanasana to Parsvottanasana. Prasarita Padottanasana, if you'll remember, was the pose we did in the beginning, where the legs were wide, so the hips are facing forward. Parsvottanasana, the hips were turned. And now, in the classic way, you actually come into Parsvottanasana, Prasarita, Parsvottanasana. So just to start working with it and exploring it, we're going to begin in Prasarita Padottanasana. So standing in Tadasana, you're going to step your feet apart. A nice big step for Prasarita and Parsvottanasana. So coming onto your bricks. Take your bricks to whatever height you need. And if you don't need bricks, you can take your fingertips onto the floor. Now, from Prasarita Padottanasana, firm, strong legs. Feel that lovely spread across the front body, that extension in the spine. You're in this halfway lift. From here, you're going to walk over to the right. Simultaneously, turn your right foot all the way around. Turn the left foot in strongly. Turn your hips and make your way to Parsvottanasana. In Parsvottanasana, firm hips, strong legs, extend the spine. So from here, walk your feet back, your hands back to the center, turn your feet back to Prasarita Padottanasana, and then turn the feet to the left, coming to Parsvottanasana. In Parsvottanasana, find that extension, stabilize the hips, square off the hips, strong, strong legs. When you've been there for a few moments, come back to Prasarita Padottanasana. From Prasarita Padottanasana, your legs have gone very narrow. Walk your hands onto your hips and come up. Come to Tadasana. So, Prasarita Padottanasana and Parsvottanasana, we've done with the hands on the floor, but it should be done with the hands in Paschimottanasana. So, if you have a look, Paschimottanasana is bringing your hands together in the prayer position behind your back. There's different ways of going into it. You want to keep the forearm into the back to keep that chest nice and open. The hands are pressing together, and you're trying to get your hands in between the two shoulder blade regions. Release and just let them relax. So those poses are done with the hands in Parsvottanasana. If you're unable to do that, you can hold onto your forearms. Do you want to show? Hold onto the forearms. Turn around. So if you're unable to do Paschimottanasana, you're holding onto the forearms. You'll have to change the cross of your forearms when you do the poses. The other alternative is to take a strap from inner armpit line to inner armpit line. And if you place your wrists in the strap, you lock the elbows. And with the elbows locked, you get a lovely, nice openness in the chest. Either way, your hands are not there to support you. So you're going to decide whichever support you want or need, you're going to take it. And we are coming to standing in Tadasana. So hands are either behind you, being held by a strap, or holding on to the forearms, or in Paschimottanasana. We won't hold for very long. Step the feet apart. You can jump. You're going to turn the hips to the right. Now, lifting up the chest, exhale, come forward to Parsvottanasana. All the way or halfway, whatever's in your practice. From Parsvottanasana, you're going to inhale, lift up to halfway. Exhale, turn to Prasarita Padottanasana. On the inhalation, extend the spine. On the exhalation, come down to complete Prasarita Padottanasana. On the next inhalation, you lift your chest. Exhale, turn the hips, turn the feet. Now, inhale, come up. Inhale, come up. Lift your chest. Lift up tall. Exhale, Parsvottanasana. From Parsvottanasana, inhale halfway. Exhale, turn the hips, Prasarita. Widen the legs if they've gone narrow. Next exhalation, full Prasarita. On the next inhalation, lift your chest. Come to the halfway, turn on the exhalation. On the inhalation, extend the spine. Exhale, come down, complete your Parsvottanasana. And then up you come Turn the feet and release the hands at your sides. Bring the legs together to Tadasana. Be in Tadasana for a few breaths. Relax here for a moment. Breathe. Feel how this pose makes everything work. Right. Good news is you have to start with one on the left side, but we don't have to do it today. So when you practice these, if you have time, we started on the right, so you can do the whole process on the left, extending on the inhalations, turning on the exhalations. Right. Parsvottanasana also lends itself well to Virabhadrasana 1, the warrior pose, because the hips are already in the right position. So from Tadasana, engage the legs, extend the spine, open up the chest, bring the fingertips to the chest, and step or jump the feet wide. Now we'll come through Vimasana, turn the feet, turn the hips to the right. In this Vimasana position, if you're able to, take the arms up over your head. So this is Parsvottanasana shape hips. And as you exhale, come to Virabhadrasana 1. In Virabhadrasana 1, the back leg stays strong as you bend that right leg. When you bend the right leg, you keep the lift of the abdomen, the lift of the chest. Breathe as you inhale and stretch up. As you exhale, see, can you deepen your sit a little bit? Now, on the next exhalation, bring your hands down, either to the floor or onto your bricks, and then begin to straighten that right leg in Parsvottanasana. So Parsvottanasana gives you a nice break in between, gives you a chance to steady the legs, catch your breath. Virabhadrasana 1 is a powerful pose. Now when you're ready, bend the right leg. Feel that you're bending nice, deep like a lunge, and then strong back leg, inhale, come up. If you're able to take the arms up, do. Lock the elbows, stretch up. When you stretch up, don't unbend the knee. Keep that bend that you had in the lunge. Then straightening up the front leg, turn the feet, and come back to Tadasana. We'll do Virabhadrasana 1 to the other side, working in and out of Parsvottanasana. So when you're ready, Tadasana, alert the spine, find that breath, fingertips to the chest, jump. Good. From here, turn to Vimasana. Turn the hips, turn the feet, arms are out in Vimasana like an aeroplane. Take the arms up to Urdhva Hastasana, palms face each other. Find that beautiful length in the front body. Keep those Parsvottanasana hips, and on an exhalation, as you bend that left knee, slide the left buttock bone to the divider of the knee. Settle that front thigh, buttock down, but that right thigh, lift that knee off the floor. Stretch that right leg. Breathe. Stretch up on the inhalation. On an exhalation, take your hands to the bricks. Straighten the front leg. Rest in Parsvottanasana. Find your hip alignment in Parsvottanasana. Find the extension of not just the spine, but the sides of the body, especially the left side of the body here. Now, when you bend the knee again, you're bending to a nice deep 90 degree. Stabilize that back leg, get ready, and use the breath, nice big breath in to come up. Bend the knee more on the exhalation, push into that back foot. Breathe, breathe, lift up, and when you're ready, you push into that left heel, straighten up that left leg, turning the feet back to center, rest your arms, and bring the feet together in Tadasana, either stepping or jumping the feet apart. Again, in this Tadasana, at the end of the pose, find the softness, find the quietness, find that release. And now we're going to do Parsvottanasana working into Parivrita Trikonasana. So Parivrita Trikonasana is the twist. That is an intense pose, but it is a lovely, lovely pose. It's very, very beneficial for the spine. So we'll go to the right side first. Keep your bricks to the right side of your mat. And then you're going to come from Tadasana. In Tadasana, fingertips to your chest, and you'll jump or step the feet apart. Turn to Parsvottanasana. Turn to the right, turn the hips, turn the chest, and now come down onto your bricks for Parsvottanasana. In Parsvottanasana, you're keeping the legs absolutely strong. You're trying to keep that stability in the hips and that length of the spine. Also the length of the back of the neck. Now, as a beginner, you don't want to necessarily go into the fullest extent of the pose. So you can keep your left hand where it is on the inside of that right foot. Taking your right hand somewhere on your right waist, you're going to come to a twist. So in the twist, again, as you did at the beginning of class, you had the shoulder blades cutting in, but the chest opening up. Don't throw the head back too much. If Parivrita Trikonasana is within your practice and you feel steady and stable in it, then you don't need to do this beginner pose. From Parsvottanasana, you can take the left hand on the outside of the right knee. If you're a beginner, you can rest in between in Parsvottanasana and attempt it again. If you've got the left hand on the outside of the right knee, see, do you need the brick? Can you lower the brick? Can you bring that left shoulder blade down? Can you deepen your twist? And then if you're stable, the top hand goes up, the chest lifts and opens. Be there for a few breaths. The exhalations help you to deepen the twist. When you're ready, you bring that hand down, back through Parsvottanasana. So not the classic way of doing Parivrita Trikonasana, but certainly a nice stable way. Then when you're ready, strong legs come up. And you want to slowly turn the feet, bring the feet together, Tadasana. So any point in time that you need to rest in Tadasana in between poses, absolutely do. So we'll give a little bit of a front view here. So you'll turn towards me. Come to Tadasana, again in between your mat. So come to the middle, be in the middle of your two bricks. And you're going to take your fingertips to come towards me. Yep. Bring your fingertips to the chest, jump or step the feet apart. It's a very tight space she's working in here, but I want to show a front view. So now turn the back foot, turn the front foot, take the hands on the hips, get the hips squared off. You can even take that back foot to the wall if you want. When you come into Parsvottanasana, your hands are near your ankles. So come to Parsvottanasana. Let's move that brick back. From Parsvottanasana, if you're a beginner, keep the right hand where it is. And then you're going to turn to the left. So you can keep the right hand on the inside of the left foot and turn to the left. Take your left hand on the waist. Left hand on the waist, come to a twist here. So in this twist, you're bringing the right shoulder blade in. If you don't need such a height, then take the brick down. You take whatever support you need. You take whatever height you need. You want to keep the chest and the shoulders aligned. Then on an exhalation, release and come down. Especially if you're a beginner. Take breaks in Parsvottanasana. It's such a beneficial pose to learn Parivrita Trikonasana. As an adept, more advanced student, you can take this right hand across. Remember, if you're menstruating, if you're pregnant, don't do these deep twists. The right shoulder blade has to cut in exactly like it did in that seated twist. Your left side of the chest has to open up, and with the legs strong and stable, if you're able to take that top hand up, you do. You want to bring that right shoulder blade in, open that left shoulder blade out so that there's this beautiful perpendicular line. When you've held this pose for a few breaths, release. Come through your Parsvottanasana again. Catch your breath in Parsvottanasana. Stabilize the legs. Up you come. And you're going to turn your feet and walk your way or step back to Tadasana. In Tadasana, just soft breaths, relaxed shoulders, relaxed arms, and we're taking Prasarita Padottanasana as a restorative. So turn to face the bricks, step the feet apart, and we're just resting in Prasarita Padottanasana. Soft inhalations, soft exhalations. Prasarita Padottanasana is a lovely beginner pose to start working into head balance. Lovely pose to quieten the heart, to get you nice and relaxed. You can work your way as deeply into the pose or stay in the halfway position, depending on the level of your practice. And when you're ready, we're coming up. We're just going to do a few quick restoratives. So, coming back to Adho Mukha Virasana, what we did at the beginning of class, where your feet, toes were together, knees were apart. And in this Adho Mukha Virasana, we're using the bolster in between the knees. We're hugging the bolster. So you're coming forward over the bolster, resting either your head on your crossed arms or arms at the side, hugging your bolster. Again, if you need some softness under the shins, please put some blankets. If your ankle doesn't extend like this and it's really sore on the ankle, place a little bit of height so the toes can hang off. If your buttocks don't ground easily, you can use blankets under the buttocks also. Rest the head, rest the shoulders, catch your breath. So it's a restorative Adho Mukha Virasana. I used to have a student who used to call this hug your bolster time. So hug your bolster, rest your body, catch your breath. From here, pressing your hands into the floor, push yourself up. We're coming to Supta Baddha Konasana. So you'll take the same bolster and a pillow for your head, and you're sitting in front of your bolster. We'll use the classic support for the strap. So if you have a strap, you're going to take a nice big loop. You're placing it around you like a belt, all the way down. And you don't want the strap here in the waist. You want the strap down here at the upper buttock region where babies get those little dimples. If you keep the strap so that the tail end faces you and the buckle is flat, you're able to pull on the tail end and adjust it. Lying over the bolster, making sure that the bolster is centered. Is your bolster centered? So bolster is centered. Lying over the bolster, relaxing the shoulders, tucking in your chin to make sure the back of the neck is long. Let the neck feel supported. Here again, palms are turned up to the ceiling so that the bicep rolls out and you get this lovely openness in the chest here. And you want to make sure that the flesh of the shoulder blades, the flesh of the buttocks has released. If you have this strap right in the back waist, it's not very comfortable. You want it low down on the buttocks. And if you were to pull against the feet, it should create a little bit of traction. You want the feet as close to the body as possible. So if your knees can allow it, bring the feet close to the body. If your hips do not like this pose, it is such a beneficial pose, you do want to try and do it and practice it. So if your hips tie in this pose and it's really uncomfortable, you can either take some of your shoulder balance foams or some folded blankets just under the upper thigh, mid thigh, so that there's softness in the groins and the hips. You want to quieten here. If you're taking support under one leg, you absolutely need support under the other so that there's evenness. We're leading into Shavasana, so you can relax the shoulders, relax the throat, the jaw, the skin of the face, close the eyelids. Taking soft, gentle inhalations, soft, quiet exhalations here. In this pose, it's a lovely openness for the front body. So we did a lot of forward bends and some twisting. So here, feel that the sides of the body are free. The abdomen is nice and spread and open from that navel, as if you want to smooth and iron out your shirt. Just let that abdomen spread and settle down. These restoratives, at the end of class, you hold them only as long as you need or have time for. Without disturbing the body too much, because we're going to use the same support of the bolster and the blanket. We're coming to a supported Shavasana. So by bringing the knees into your chest, you can unhook your feet, then lie back on. So just keep the belt loosely on your waist, and then you're extending the legs to Shavasana. Shavasana is the corpse pose. In Shavasana, you want to let the feet flop out to the side. There should be no supports touching you so that you're not disturbed in your Shavasana state. When you adjusted the legs and the belt, just get a sense of what the back body is doing. Is there still that sort of movement down of the flesh and the muscles of the back body? As you inhale, the breath kind of flows up to the chest, and as you exhale, it flows down the back, letting the shoulders release. Be here for a few quiet inhalations and exhalations. This is the Shavasana position that is used for pranayama, breathing. So feel that space and openness and freedom of your chest because of this support. It is always best to finish off with a flat Shavasana. So bringing your hands anywhere on your abdomen where you feel comfortable. Bend your knees, roll to your side to come out. And then you can remove that belt. You can take whatever support you need for your Shavasana. So especially if you are cold, make sure you're going to be warm. The bolster you can keep for underneath your knees if it's helpful for you and restful for you. The blanket you take underneath the head and the neck, making sure that there's enough support there. Keep the knees bent initially. Find that movement of the flesh of the shoulders away from the ears, the flesh of the buttocks. You can either manually adjust or just do a bit of a pelvic tilt. Then keeping the back spread and long, you'll release the legs into Shavasana. Especially if you're online and you're not certain, just pop your head up and check that your nose, your breastbone, your navel, in between the two legs, it's all even, straight. So Shavasana is a pose. You want a nice extended spine, a nice open chest, nice lengthened sides of the body, and then equal distance between the 2 feet, between the 2 hands from the midline. So let the feet flop out to the sides, thighs, hips are relaxed and quiet. Palms face up to the ceiling in a gesture of receiving, with the shoulders, the neck, the throat all passive. Back of the neck long, skin of the face soft. The eyes are softly closed, and you draw the eyes back, let them settle to the eye, back into the eye sockets, and also feel that you are sort of tucking your chin in a little bit so the back of the neck is long. Gaze is down towards the chin, down towards the heart center, towards the feet. And just be here with your breath. Soft inhalations, soft exhalations. Feel your breath move in and out of your body with each exhalation, just surrendering into this quiet Shavasana state a little bit more. You want to come out of your Shavasana slowly. So first start to breathe deeper. Let those inhalations become fuller, more profound. Bring the hands anywhere on the abdomen where is comfortable for you. Connect with your breath here. As you breathe deeper, let that breath slowly bring you back to your mat, back to the present moment. On the next breath in, stretch your arms over your head. You can give your body a long, deep stretch, yawn or sigh the breath out. Then keeping your right hand up, you're going to cradle your head in your right arm, bend your knees, roll to your right hand side. Use the right arm as a pillow here. The knees are curled in, you're in the fetal position. The left side of the body is just holding you in this quiet Shavasana state for a moment longer. When you feel ready, you want to lift the head up last. So using your left hand, turn towards your left hand, push into the left hand, bring the head up last. Work your way into a comfortable seated position with the eyes closed. Lift your spine, open up your chest. With the eyes closed, keep the skin of the face soft. And again, a moment here to feel gratitude. On the next breath in, let your eyes gently flutter open and focus. Namaste. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Kim.